Emmanuel Sanchez versus Daniel Weichel, and then you've got Pedro Cavallo versus Patricio Pitbull. Yeah. I'm excited for the main event, obviously, because Patricio, I'm a big fan of Patricio. I think Cavallo brings all the things that you want to hear someone say they're going to do. He brings that actually to the table. He says, I'm going to drag him into deep waters. I'm going to make him fight at a pace that he can't keep up with.
Saying something.
That is something that people have tried to do. Emmanuel Sanchez tried to do it. Emmanuel Sanchez tried to do it, and he was having some success in those later rounds, but it wasn't enough. Pedro Cavallo, I think, is going to have a hard time. I think he's underestimating how hard it is going to be to get him down to the ground. He's not going to be able to get Patricio to the ground. I don't think. You get that look. Like, what's the look for? Yeah.
You're taking a look, and I really love Pedro as a fighter. Yeah. I was one of the first ones that started talking about him.
Yes.
When he first came in, and I knew I had watched him fight once before. And I said, hey, this guy's actually really good. Mm-hmm. And he's only gotten a whole lot better because he hadn't fought for a while. And his first fight in Bellator was against Daniel Crawford. Mm-hmm. And Daniel Crawford is a stud. From England, he was 10-1, I believe, at the time that he fought Pedro. And Pedro and him had a great fight, but Pedro definitely won that fight. I think it ended as a split, but it never should have. Mm-hmm. Pedro definitely won the fight. Then went on, moved up in weight just to get a fight because he couldn't get fights at 145, moves up to 155, just smokes his next opponent, smokes Derek Campos, just puts on some great performances. Then he goes out and his fight against Sam Sicilia, he just dominated the actual action of that. Sam had a couple little moments, but once he got the back, he didn't even choke him. It was a face crank, crushed his jaw. He's good everywhere, and he is very good at pushing the pace. Mm-hmm. But he's facing a guy who's very good at making people who push the pace not be able to push the pace. And he's facing a guy who is so physically strong and powerful with his hands and good on the ground and has a nasty freaking guillotine that when a guy goes for the takedown, you better be careful where you put your head. He's facing a guy that is the cream of the crop. And to get that win, you're going to have not only the performance of your life, but all the things are going to have to line up. You cannot make mistakes in this fight. Can he do it? Yes. Will he do it? We will see.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. How can I put this? He made Sam Sicilia tried so hard to get into his grill, try to dictate the pace of the fight right away. He gassed himself out, and Pedro Cavallo just hung out. He just was relaxed and calm and composed the whole time. And you just saw Sam's meter, his little power meter on the top of a video game, just start going down. It was like, doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. And next thing you know, he's just gassed out. He had no answer. And then Pedro Cavallo just started putting the moves on him. Just started, working him over on the ground, putting him in places that he didn't feel comfortable to, got to his back and was able to, like you said, get the jaw crank, That fight to me is exciting because Pedro in his mind says, I'm going to do this. And he's somebody that seems very adamant on this is what I'm going to do.
He believes.
Yeah, and he should. He should believe. He has a reason to believe in himself. Look how good he is.
Yeah.
But when you get to the other guy who is just as mentally strong as you, and he did this on purpose, man. He picked a fight with an SPG guy so he could talk shit about SPG guys.
I know he did.
He's brilliant. He's like, no, he's like, he wants to fight the SPG guys because he's heard that they're good. He's also heard that there's a lot of drama and shit that comes along with it. He wants to be able to say, I smash these guys. I smash your team. He wants to be able to say those things. Everybody wants to push the pace on Patricio until he hits them, and then they feel that little bit of respect, like, oh, maybe I'm gonna approach this a little bit more cautiously,
a little more careful.
Yeah, just ask Michael Chandler, no respect, and the fight's over, and you got to be careful with that type of stuff. And so I know that he is very adamant on this is what I'm gonna do, but I want to know if he's still gonna be adamant that way after a couple nice clean knocks.
We'll see.
He's gonna take some knocks, and it's gonna make him he's either gonna earn the respect. Patricio's gonna earn his respect, or he's just gonna keep doing what he's doing, and then he's playing with fire. But he could also be doing something that works in the 4th and 5th round, like he said. But I want to go back to Emmanuel Sanchez doing that. Also, he did that, and he had success in the later rounds against Patricio when he did that. But Emmanuel fights at a nasty fast pace. Cavallo doesn't fight at that type of pace. He still fights at a good pace, but he doesn't fight like
a good pressure. He's good with pressure and staying in that range that makes you feel like I have to move.
Yeah.
He makes it to where you're just not comfortable with the range that he's giving you, and you want to create that range that you feel comfortable with. And in doing that, he's making you tense, and he's making you react, and he's getting his shots off.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight. I want to see if Pedro still sticks with the game plan of pushing the action.
We'll see if he can.
After he catches a couple knocks from Patricio, because not a lot of guys stay on their feet after they get hit by him. And then on top of it, not a lot of guys, they all say they're going to come in. Look at Juan Archuleta, said, I'm going to come in there, I'm going to get in his face, I'm going to push the pace.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
Not easy.
He got dropped. Once he got dropped,
yeah.
the whole game plan changed. He just changed. Yeah, he just stayed on the outside, just try to jump in real quick and get out. There was never any moments where he was like, let's get in there and get after it after he got dropped. So guys, they say that, but then Patricio changes their mindset after he hits him a couple times. I didn't see the first fight with Emmanuel Sanchez and Daniel Weichel. Can you tell me how it went?
It was a good, close fight. It's a matter of, angles in the fight were created sometimes by Weichel, but then Sanchez started, dictating the pace later on, but wasn't, you could have said that Sanchez won the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And you could have said that Weichel, it was that close, but the real difference, in my opinion, in this fight, it's 5 rounds. It's not 3 rounds. And in that 5 rounds, I've watched Weichel compete at a 5-round fight, and I've watched Emmanuel compete at a 5-round fight. And one of them starts to tail off a little bit while one of them continues to maintain. Yeah. And that's going to be, I think, the difference. They match up very well. They're both outstanding on the ground. Weichel's got a beautiful ground game. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I think from Dean Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And Emmanuel, his ground game is phenomenal. He's a black belt with Daniel Vanderlei. And you look, they match up so well in everything. The real difference in this fight is going to be who can control the pace. Does Sanchez take over the pace like he started to do in the first fight and maintain that and push Weichel to a point where he has a hard time staying with that pace? Or is Weichel able to actually control it and not allow Sanchez to take control of the pace and placement of the fight?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like you said, Daniel tends to slow down. Not slow down. He just is not. He doesn't keep that pace that Emmanuel Sanchez keeps for the 5 rounds. Mm-hmm. I think also, too, the guys that come out of Duke Rufus's gym, that you got to stay out of their guards. If you get them into half guard, you get them into side control, you've got a good chance. Their fucking guard game is really good.
It's good.
It's very impressive. You've seen it with Pettis when he subbed Benson. You've seen it with little Sergio. You see it with these guys, with the guys that come out of there. And Emmanuel Sanchez, they're really good off their back, and they're good from the inside the guard position. When they've got someone in their guard, their armbar triangle game is nasty good. It's quick, it's explosive, and they got very strong legs. I don't know if it's from all the kicking, but when I trained a little bit with Pettis years ago, before he was the champ, I got into his guard, and I was like, dude, his grappling, his armbar triangle game is really good. It's strong. His setups are fast. Everything is good. When you get to half guard, you get to the side control. This was back then. He wasn't that good. He was still struggling at the time. He's obviously a lot different of a fighter now, off of his back and his grappling and everything like that. But at the time, I just see it. I see it in all these guys, from Emmanuel Sanchez to Pettis, both the Pettis brothers, and it's impressive, man. You got to stay. If you're Daniel Weichel, you got to stay out of his guard. You've got Daniel does something very well. He makes guys fight to a slower pace normally.
Yes. But that's what I'm talking about.
But Emmanuel Sanchez is not someone who normally follows that line. You saw with Patricio, like Patricio hit him with some good shots and he's like, fuck it. My game plan is to keep coming forward. And that was his game plan. And he just kept doing it, you know? And that's why I wanted to know if Pedro Cavallo is going to follow what he said he's going to do. He's like, I'm going to push the action. I'm in the best shape of my life. I saw him at the Ireland show and we talked and he's like, you don't get it. He's like, this is the best camp I've ever had. He's like, I'm fucking more focused and more determined and more ready than ever. And I mean, we talked for a good probably 10 minutes and he's just like, I'm ready, man. He's like, I actually just waiting. He's like, 2 weeks ago, I was ready. He's like, I'm ready now. Like that. And this was, 2 weeks ago. So for a month, he's been ready. He's waiting for this. He's been ready. So Emmanuel Sanchez, he knows what he needs to do to get it done, but can he implement it and not be stuck fighting Daniel Weichel's pace? Because he finds ways to make guys fight his pace. He finds a very slow, controlled, he made Saul Rogers fight his pace. He made Saul Rogers fight his pace and it worked for him. It worked for his to his benefit for sure.
100% agree.